Hello, everyone, and welcome to the No Basic Podcast. This is episode 5, and with me is Austin and Lucas yet again.
Hello.
Gentlemen,
Yo, yo,
how's it going?
It's doing good. Doing
doing
pretty
all
well.
right.
Yeah.
Nice,
Can't
nice,
complain.
nice. Well, we are on the tail end of NAIC. That happened. Well, this is Friday that we're recording on the 14th, so it happened last weekend. But so what do you guys think of the whole event?
A lot of good
I think
matches.
Guardy took over,
And that too. A lot of good
He did.
matches, but
just dominated.
that top eight, we can just jump straight in it. The top eight
Yeah.
was 6 Guardies and 2 Lost Box. So
Yep.
obviously Guardy took over top eight. I think everyone anyone that was playing this format going in AIC could see Guardy doing really well. So not
Absolutely.
super
Mhm.
surprising, but I guess it's surprising to see that many in top eight. So yeah,
Yeah, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's probably one of our least variable top eights
in a
in a
while.
while.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't really matter that there were so many Guardians
yeah,
because
it didn't
there
win.
were two Andrews that didn't run Guardian top eight, and
Yeah,
one of them did win Andrew Hedrick with a Lost Zone box.
yes, and that
Um,
the last turn was crazy.
yeah,
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
it
the whole match really
Oh no, the
He
was.
whole
just sequenced it so well.
yeah,
Yeah, that first game, I thought Andrew, I'm like, why is he not scooped?
yeah.
I
And
know.
and and to come
He
back
just
like
came
that
back. It was
in what was like a 35-minute game or
yeah,
something
He's just that guy.
yeah. He's him.
yeah, it was
He saw
and
the outs.
It
He
it
saw the
it did. It
lines.
wa it was a very long finals too. It
hmm
went to time.
And that
Mm-hmm.
that time was like 25 minutes, like that the last three
Yes,
turns or something
yes.
like that.
Probably the longest final I think I've
Yeah,
ever sat and
it was
watched to
very long,
completion.
but
But
the it was a very good match though.
it
A
was
very
very good,
very good
very
finals.
entertaining. Very high level
Yeah.
of play. But yeah. Unfortunately though, let's go to our top
Yeah,
picks.
last week we talked about like what we want who we wanted to see in the top, I guess, like what, top 8 or just
Yeah,
top in
just
I
general.
just
just
our
predicted who I
our
thought
predictions.
would make
Yeah,
Like
top eight.
yeah, so
and
AJ, you
yeah,
can go
Austin?
ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, I had John Ing, Calvin Connor, Grant Manley, and Charlie Locker. Um, Three of the four made it. We have John Ing with 115th, Calvin Connor with 118th, and Grant Manley with 12th place. So very close with the Grant Manley pick. But the rest, I mean, I think solid turnouts. I think they all did well. I mean, he was almost a 2,700 person regional. So,
Mhm.
props to those guys. I think all of them are pretty much locked in for World. So,
Mm-hmm.
best of luck to all of them. And Austin, what about your picks?
Um, I had Isaiah Bradner. He did 12, really good. I had Azul. I can't find how he did. So, but I had Tord 18th, really good. John and then John, so 115th. So
Nice.
they all did pretty good, especially with almost a 2,700 person master event. So
Yeah, yeah. Very solid picks.
It was very, very stacked.
yeah, it was very stacked.
Very.
Lucas.
Lucas, what about yours?
So I had Tor, Ryan Antonucci, Owen Cameron, and Raul Reddy. Um, Tor got 18th, Ryan 35th, Owen 324th, and then Raul got 128th. And I believe they all played Guardy except for Tor playing his
Yeah,
Charizard Dragapult
yeah,
deck, or
Yeah,
Dragapult
yeah.
yeah.
Charizard, however
All
you
I'm
want to.
saying is everyone was lucky that we didn't show up.
Oh my.
No,
Yeah.
but um,
I would have been. I would have played Guardy and I feel like I just would have went to time a lot, just with
Still
my
working on that.
inexperience of the
Yeah,
deck,
yeah.
Hey, you would have
'cause
gone
I've only played
undefeated
it
with
like
009.
the
um, I feel like if someone's like 009, so if we're talking about that, like I feel like someone like the judges would be like this guy must be slow playing. Like if you're going to time for 9 rounds,
I
like
have seen, I've
Mhm.
heard of people going 009,
like
but
like I do not know how they would.
I would be highly
Yeah, I'd
suspect.
be like, I don't know about this.
I mean, I'm highly suspect of like when someone. I mean, I've seen people like post their regional matchups and they have like a day two finish, and I look and they have like 4 to 5 ties, and it's just like okay,
You're like, mm,
yeah, it's like I mean, it is a lot of rounds, but I feel like that's a little
I feel
excessive.
like for us, like if we got a day two and we had a bunch of ties, we still be hyped because it'd be
Oh yeah, I
for
mean, I
us.
think
But
if
like,
yeah,
I think we'd probably be disappointed because we know we can't go any further. Like,
yeah, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
agreed.
Uh, okay. So now we'll just go over some of the drama that
Oh yeah.
that was going on in AIC. So there was a couple disqualifications. I think the main one everyone's talking about is with the shuffling. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Let's talk about Noah's shuffling debacle.
Mm-hmm.
Lucas, would you like to start on that one?
Um, I have no experience judging whatsoever, so I'm limited in that regard, but I think doing your due diligence is very important,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like, watching over the clip like 2 or 3 times, you can it looks sus, but to me, the top card changes. He never moved the unfair stamp, like, at all, other than when he was randomizing by shuffling,
Mm-hmm.
and then with the him not offering to cut, his opponent, said, "No, I gave him
The
the
tap.
go
Yeah.
ahead
The
to" yeah.
verbal tab, yeah.
Mhm.
So I agree. I I don't think Noah is a cheater. Um, it did look messy. Like, uh, I think
Mhm.
everyone that like seen the clip and watched it can obviously tell like it wasn't a clean shuffle. It could have been cleaner just to so he doesn't get called out like
But
that.
Right.
it happens where
Yeah,
you miss
especially when you have a
your
thin
'cause he
deck.
was mass shuffling, yeah.
Yeah, when
Yeah.
you have a thin
Once it
deck
gets
like
so
that,
thin, it's mashing gets
it gets harder.
difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I kind of agree. It is an awkward shuffle, though. I don't know. I mean, I used to be a judge, not currently. But luckily, knock on wood, I never had to deal with something of this nature.
especially at such a big event.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And that's another thing too. Like there was multiple. I believe that there was multiple judges involved in that decision. I would assume it went all the way to the head judge.
Yeah,
I
it had to
believe
go
most
like
disqualifications
Yeah,
immediately go
without
through
a
the head
doubt.
judge. Um, I definitely don't think it was done in like I definitely don't think they were necessarily in the wrong either if they suspected any foul play,
yeah.
especially at that high point. I mean, you are playing for a lot of money and it's very late into the tournament.
Mhm.
If someone were to be opportunistic
It
to
that
try
that
to
would be
take
the
it,
time.
that would be the time to do it. So like I definitely don't think they took it, I don't think it was a knee jerk reaction. I definitely think because I don't think he was immediately disqualified. I think it did come a
It went to
little
the
bit
next
later.
round.
It went okay.
Mhm.
So they had a little time to review. Did they like stop his match in the
Um,
next round? Do we know
I
or
don't know, but I would assume so. If they came to this decision, they probably went to his
mhm.
table.
I mean,
Yeah.
unfortunately, Pokemon will probably not
No,
address the issue. Like they won't speak
they
on it at all.
definitely
But
won't address the issue.
it would be nice to hear from someone who may have had something to do with that decision. But
Yeah, but I guess
I
it's
don't.
kind of hard for the judge to
Right.
come up and say like, yes, I made this decision because a mob would like form.
Yeah, probably. But
Yeah.
I mean, and it is. I mean, being a judge is a thankless job. And I definitely think that it's a gray area. I mean, I definitely think there was some suspicion. I don't think they were wrong to be suspicious. Whether or not it was a DQ, that is, I guess, where the debate lies. That's where the
It-
line in the sand is
yeah,
drawn.
I mean, we can all form our own opinions. Like I don't think any of us can like would say he cheated. Like we watched a clip enough where we're like, okay, this feels like we
Yeah.
wouldn't have like if we were facing him, it would have been fine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like I only
I
found
mean, I
out
probably would have
about
cut, but
I
at the end
definitely
of
Yeah,
the
heard
day, just cut
if
your
you're
opponent's
just
deck.
cut your.
if you're
Unless,
playing
like,
on day 2, just
Hmm.
cut your opponent's deck,
yeah,
especially if
especially,
you're on stream. Because I wanted to speak on that because I n- I didn't I saw on Twitter is how someone said they verbally cut
Hmm.
the opponent on, I believe, addressed it on Twitter.
Yes. Yeah.
mhm,
Um, so like a lot of people don't have that context when they see the clip. There's
Yeah.
no mention, like the casters, don't acknowledge anything going on because it wasn't described till
yeah,
later. So there's no context that the opponent verbally cut. So it looks like he didn't offer. So
Yeah.
that definitely, I think, blew it out of proportion a bit too.
mhm,
Um, it's suspicious. Is it DQ worthy? I'm not sure. I
Yeah.
would not want to be the head judge in that scenario.
Yeah.
Um,
yeah,
but I feel like they probably should still be allowed to do worlds. I think
Yes.
they should probably have still gotten their points for
yeah,
how far they made it into that tournament.
Yeah. At least give
But
him the points that
yeah,
he worked for.
exactly. Yeah,
So
I agree. Um,
because that he lost his invite from that, right?
yeah.
Like,
yeah, because he was guaranteed, like, even
yeah,
if he
that's
Mhm.
made it.
Yeah,
like if
it's
something like that
unfortunate.
happened to any of us, you know how heartbroken we would be.
Yeah,
It
Oh,
it
absolutely.
I'd be selling the collection. Be like, it just
this isn't for
wasn't
me.
meant to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad.
I'd be going full-time Lorcana.
But um, but Unfair Stamp wasn't the only DQ from Unfair Stamp that week.
Yeah.
Uh,
There was another one. I believe a senior player.
It's Gabriel, right?
Yeah, Gabriel
mhm,
Fernandez. Yep.
Yeah.
I'm looking at his tweet where he explains what happened. To just sum it up real quick, I don't want to read it word for word.
Hmm.
They were facing a bad matchup into Snorlax stall, or were they playing Snorlax stall? Or
I think
oh
they
no,
were
they were playing
playing.
into Snorlax stall.
Yeah,
Um, and the judges stopped him in the middle of the game and said he was trying to put Unfair Stamp on the top of his deck,
Yeah.
which he, would explain would be pretty pointless in that matchup.
It definitely would be.
But according to him, that's basically what happened, and he was disqualified. And I believe he was within top eight. It happened, or he was going
I
to be.
I'm not sure, but I'm pretty sure he was far, like really
Yeah, he was
far.
very far. He was 10-3-1, so he
Yeah.
was pretty far into NAIC for the seniors. And um, I mean, you could I mean, there is some argument with Stahl as to like whether or not that is like him. If that card were to get Misfortune Sisters away, it wouldn't really
It wouldn't matter.
affect him too
Yeah.
much. So in
mhm,
theory, yes, but I don't believe. I'm not sure. Like I don't. His last sentence at the end is that's the only way they can stop me from winning. So like that part there, just kind of like usually whenever someone I don't know like DQs aren't given out just randomly. They're not given out. They're not supposed to be given out so frequently. So
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. I mean, I only have one side to this. So
there should be weight and
The thing is, though,
a good evidence,
yeah, evidence and whatnot, but it's
but there's no
also,
transparency to know what,
was he giving
it's
like,
just one-sided.
I'm wondering if he had multiple instances of like warnings, because like
yeah.
just going to straight to DQ just seems like crazy.
Exactly. Usually there is an escalation for certain things. Like if you get a warning later on, you might get a prize penalty, or it'll probably get escalated if you do the same thing again in a tournament.
Yeah,
Um,
but
I
we're never gonna know
yeah,
everything.
it's all hearsay,
Yeah,
At the end of the day, we're only hearing one side.
yeah,
With the no situation, we did hear we heard from an opponent, so we heard a little bit
yeah,
more. But in this situation, I don't even know if this person's opponent has even came forward. I mean, it's seniors, so the likelihood that we'll ever hear more is probably slim.
yeah.
But
Mhm.
it's just ironic that unfair stamp calls 2 DQs,
I think people were
supposedly.
Well,
probably assuming
I
that.
feel like with a bright pink one-of card, people are gonna be more hyper
Looking at it,
vigilant,
yeah,
to see,
Yeah, it'll definitely
are they
stand
doing
out a little
anything
more.
shady,
yeah,
Yeah.
which
because all the good ace
just
specs are very
shuffle
game changing
properly,
for a
guys.
reason.
Okay, yeah, because his opponent, yeah, he was accused of looking at his deck while shuffling. I missed
Yeah,
that part of the
Mm,
twit longer, but um, yeah. So I mean, that's another thing too. I've already heard a few people address this in the community. They said just look away while you shuffle.
yeah.
yeah.
I always try to do that. Like I always when I'm shuffling,
I'm bad at shuffling sometimes. I feel like I'm always fumbling my cards.
usually like if
So,
I'm shuffling like this, I
but
try to turn the other way where
yeah,
the cards are facing towards.
I definitely get what they're saying there. That is something that you should be doing.
Hmm.
Just try to remove all reasonable doubt that there
Just
could
don't
be any
look
suspicion
sus.
of,
Yeah,
just don't be looking
And
sus.
always offer a cut. I hate people that
Yeah,
just
never.
uh,
yeah.
there's a guy like
Offer a
that in
cut.
our locals. Like I'm always off. Like I always offer to cut, and he just always like go. And it's always
Mhm.
like I'm so ingrained into my mind, and I'm like, this guy's got to be mad at me because I'm always like, doesn't matter. I'm always
Yeah,
offering.
you're all. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, to some, they just, I don't know. I'm very habit forming too, and
Mm-hmm.
even if I mean, I tend to cut even just in friendlies a lot of times, just because
yeah. It's
it's
just
just
like a
such a
force of
force.
habit.
Yeah, it's a good
Exactly.
force of habit though. So
I
It
don't
is. It
always
is.
cut. I like to. Yeah,
And if I'm like playing a newer player, I'll actually encourage him. I'll say, "Cut my deck," or "You should probably cut," or not saying I'm cheating. Just I'll even tell him like, if you're
get
playing
them
like a
used to
tournament,
it.
you should definitely get used to cutting your opponent's deck.
yeah,
Yeah,
for
Not
sure.
saying they're cheating, but it just it makes it harder if they are cheating.
Yeah, for sure.
And just tell them not to cut in the same spot every time or whatever. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, and there's people that don't even there's people that don't even realize you can shuffle
Yeah,
your your
you can
opponent's
pick up your opponent's deck as
your
long as you
deck.
don't riffle
I'll
shuffles.
riffle shuffle someone's deck.
Yeah, yeah,
Even if they riffle shuffle their deck,
Yeah,
just don't.
yeah.
like
Please be careful,
unless
people.
they like
So
verbally say like go ahead, like you can riffle shuffle, like literally say
Mm,
that, don't like just mash shuffle. It does the same thing, basically the
you can
same
just
thing.
do it 2 or 3 times. You don't have to go,
Yeah,
yeah,
crazy with
because you
it.
don't know like someone's situation and how they think about their cards. So
yeah. The
Yeah.
last thing you want to do is mess somebody's card up, and
yeah, and
yeah, then you got to pull out proxy for the whole tournament, and someone's card's damage, and
there might be even a judge call for that too if like
there could be. Well, wasn't
If the opponent like says, "Hey, stop it," and then they continue riffling, they can call a judge at that
yeah,
point.
if you eat your opponent's
And
lost
I'm not
faction
sure what
open, call the
happens.
judge over for a deck check.
yeah. They're playing with an illegal deck then. That's only 59 cards. All right. Let's AJ, you wanted to talk about this, right?
Okay, yeah. So this kind of got brought up today on Twitter, and there's been, I guess there's been a lot of talk since NAIC, even before that, about
Yeah,
time.
time.
And Guardy, as much as I hate Guardy, it's a good deck, but I do think it's a deck that takes advantage of the clock quite a bit. And I think it's a deck that a lot of high level players can push to time if they take game one and really just grind the game to a halt.
Yeah,
Hmm.
But doing enough legal actions to do so
yeah,
in a
Yeah.
manner that's not slow playing.
To
And
properly thin the deck and
exactly.
yeah.
yeah.
And I know people have talked about chess clocks and TCG for a very long time. Like it's been brought up since I've been playing. And a lot of people were like, "Oh no, it won't work." And my biggest issue, I guess, is just like your opponent's like, "Okay, cool. You're gonna play a card to shuffle. All right, I'm gonna shuffle as slow as possible while your chess clock is running."
Hmm.
Though I do think that like I guess you wouldn't be able to give each player 25 minutes in an actual regional. I feel like,
That's like
but
that's too much.
perhaps maybe 20 minutes each. But I think there should be, well, in chess, a lot of time in like bullet or like rapid chess or speed chess, they'll actually have like a slight couple second
Yeah, it
timer
gives them.
increase on the chess clock.
Yeah.
And what that does is it basically like if you're playing online, you can preset your move if you're playing speed. So it's like,
Hmm.
okay, I know he's most likely going to move here. I can pre-move my piece to move here if that's the case. You can't really do that in a live game. It takes a second or two to do it and hit the clock. So when you do that, it gives you a few seconds. I was thinking in the TCG, perhaps a 20-second add-on timer when you hit your clock to your opponent's turn. To me, that would give about one dex check worth of time plus, anything extra would be on your own time, basically. And that would also keep, it would give enough time if, say, you were to play Iono for your opponent to give a significant shuffle yourself. Um, and
That just sounds so convoluted.
Yeah.
is it convoluted? I mean, you just
I
have to
don't
hit a little paddle
really.
once you're done.
It's not really that convoluted. It's just I think there's more simpler ways to go about it.
Hmm.
Like I think the easiest and most simplest way is let us look at our prizes and shuffle the prizes into the back onto it. Like that's it. And every time afterwards, like judges can be like, we already know our prizes, so they can be more stern on how much time we're taking
Hmm.
I
on that.
definitely wouldn't hate that. It
Yeah,
would. I mean,
I mean,
I think
I
I'd
wouldn't
be
mind
down.
like that's like the
How
easiest solution, but I also like the draw 13 and pick 6. But that
There is some argument there that
it it it,
helps
it helps
aggro decks
it helps certain
quite a
decks.
bit, certain
So
decks, and it might not help.
yeah,
It might hurt a lot of others.
yeah,
But I mean, any fundamental TCG rule can change how a deck runs.
yeah.
I
Just
feel like
look
it
at
would just
what were you
I
saying?
don't know. I think the draw 13, yeah, pick six prizes. I feel like one it eliminates donking, which is just like yeah, it's part of the game, but it just feels bad
Yeah,
Yeah,
when it happens.
yeah,
And then also, you know, just make it where you got 30 seconds to pick your prizes. So,
yeah,
because realistically, it's not going to take too long to, yeah. And then obviously you randomize your prizes because you're going to want to.
yeah.
So I saw on Twitter someone was like, "But you can map it out," and it's like, no, we're gonna shuffle,
And
we're gonna randomize.
yeah,
Like,
you're gonna shuffle it, and then your opponent's gonna cut it.
yeah.
yeah,
So,
and
but
then
Or
you'll lay it
I
out.
would just let my opponent shuffle and lay it
yeah,
out,
um,
or however, you know.
yeah, but I wouldn't mind either. That's something we should probably do a video on, like play a game like that. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah,
Um,
I'd like to chess. I'd like to
Do
I'd
a
like to
chess
test
clock
the
one?
chess theory as
If you buy a
well.
chess clock, I'd
He's
do
got
it.
one.
I have one somewhere. I'll just have to find it. I
Yeah.
have a yeah.
But I think like if we're not doing the draw 13, then let us like just let us look at our prizes. Like technically it's we would have the knowledge for it anyway if we look through our deck, so why not? But I do get why people don't like doing that, because I guess in a way it is a skill or whatnot. But
It's a skill that I definitely think the people that are good at it don't want to see it go.
yeah, because it isn't like technically an advantage like to have that
Yeah,
skill. So
it's an advantage, absolutely.
but I think there's
That anyone could get better at.
yeah.
That is
But
true.
I wouldn't like, obviously I don't think anyone, or at least us, wouldn't mind having that, but well, I guess I guess we'll see if they change it.
Yeah. I definitely think they should. I'd love to be a fly on the wall in some of their decision making.
Mhm.
But yeah, I hope that they're somewhat listening to the community. I feel like they are in some ways. Like I feel like the quality of the streams have gone way up, and they
Yeah.
are listening to the community a lot more, especially on like what matches to play. So hopefully they can kind of come to the conclusion like, hey, a lot of players want to see this.
Yeah.
And maybe it's
And I
something
honestly
that
think
they
it
could.
does like enhance the quality of the games.
Mhm.
Honestly, like it just speeds up the game, because it so the game is really fast in the number of turns, but it's really slow with actual time right now. Like if you really think, like the number of turns in a game is like really quick, but it's just
Right.
that the in between time, like all the time it takes
Yeah.
for those turns to happen, is really slow.
hmm
I'm
So
starting to see the
There's just
appeal
so
of
many
yeah,
actions
there's
like per turn
so
now compared
yeah.
to
it is.
older
Yeah, like
formats.
10 years ago, like during X and Y and like Sun and Moon, like I don't think time was nearly as, like people weren't worrying about time nearly as much.
Yeah, it
hmm
wasn't as
And
big
we
of a
had like
thing.
things like shutting down abilities and
Oh
stuff,
yeah, you had
like had Gar
ability lock,
Rotor.
item lock, ability item lock all
We had Let
together.
Loose. Like we had stuff that
Well,
like
maybe
literally
that's why the turns were so fast because you couldn't do anything.
I guess. But yes, like we had a lot more lockdown stuff.
Mhm.
So, and I
Yeah.
there definitely
Um,
needs to be something, I think, done. Maybe we'll see something after Worlds, because I don't think they're going to do anything until after, like
yeah,
rule
I
changes
definitely
wise.
think
So
that's a big change. It's
that is a very big change.
definitely something they shouldn't take lightly because we hear a lot of people talking about it, but I don't see a lot of people actually testing that format.
Yeah, I mean
Um,
it's like, because why bother when it's not in a
yeah, I
like
mean, it
That's all
sounds
officially
amazing. It
supported.
sounds um, like it sounds like an amazing like system, but at
mhm.
the same time, it's one of the things like is it something that like if they did adopt it, people are like, oh, maybe I'm not as big of a fan of this, or this
Yeah,
completely changes how I build a deck, and it could be a meta shifting rule change that
yeah,
may not necessarily be necessary.
yeah.
hmm
But um, I mean, I think it's good to talk about it though, because it does get the, like, the more people
Just
talk
Yeah.
about
create,
it, the
create a dialogue.
Yeah. I'm
yeah,
definitely not opposed to it.
yeah.
Either that or, like I said, just go the chess clock route and make everyone responsible for their own time. But
Well, what would you do like with a skateboard?
what about it? Like,
So the you play skateboard and your opponent's deciding, but it's your turn. Who does do
I play
they
skateboard.
or skate rope? I'm sorry.
Oh, okay, okay.
If it gets
Well,
reprinted or if we're playing
I
expanded.
mean, I think
If it's the
if your
action,
opponent takes, well, that's why I add that extra 20 seconds on is for any say interaction your opponent has to take during your turn. So if they take longer than 20 seconds to promote a Pokemon off an escape rope, I'd say that's worth the judge call right there.
Yeah.
That did not take 20 seconds. I feel like at that point you would be able to call the
Or
judge.
honestly, like if actions take your opponent, like if something that takes your opponent's like
Yeah.
actions, you can slap the button down and be like it's.
Yeah, or maybe there, because like I know in chess you can pause the
But
clock and
that
call a
is,
judge
I guess that
over.
is
So
more
like,
complicated. So.
yeah, it is a little bit, but at the same time, once it's set up, you're just hitting a button and it sends it to your opponent's time. So
Yeah.
like, I mean, I feel like that, and it's like, okay, cool. If you're playing Guardy and you take, 20, or you take 20 or say 17 minutes of your 20 and your opponent takes 5, but the game completes, hey, good, like you both did your in the right time. But at the same time, if a Guardy player gets a loss because, oh, I lost to time, well, that's on you.
Yeah. Like
And
I
I know
wouldn't.
I'm saying Guardy as an example. I just like to, I like to dunk
Yeah.
on Guardy a little bit, and that's
Yeah.
for any deck. There's plenty of decks that have milked the clock over the years.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
not just
there's
Guardy.
so many discussions that can be brought up with time. Like we can like talk about instead of doing best of 3, we can do best of 1 or do the two games and each player gets to play like a turn, like go first or second, like what they want to
Yeah,
pick,
I don't
and
mind
like
that
it
either.
and
Actually,
it that goes based off wins. Like
Mhm.
or you can do like the best of 1, like how they do it in Japan. Like if there's no ties, it's a double game loss if it goes to time. So.
yeah. Which weirdly enough, Stall does really well in Japan for no ties. But yeah, I don't hate the Japanese format either because sometimes
I
playing 9 rounds of best of 3, I feel like I
It's a
would be
lot.
feel yeah, and I think in Japan where they do 14 rounds of
It's a
best of
lot of
1 or
rounds.
something. But at the same time, I feel like more opponents can sometimes be a good thing
Yeah,
over.
I mean, I wouldn't like. I wish they would kind of do like changes or like try out events with different formats a little bit, like in terms of that, because like the only way they're gonna know is if like they do it to us.
I
Like
feel like they'd have to start out with like smaller,
it
like
would have to
tougher
be, yeah, it
challenges.
would have to be smaller stuff,
Mhm.
but I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to trying like if they
Yeah.
did like a big event and it's best of 1 in like 14, 15 rounds or how
Because I
many.
I
Like I
re-
try
I
it, but
remember I didn't really know much about the TCG at the time. When I first rolled up to World in 2014, but I do remember there was a guy. He had a petition to 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 remove Swiss format from competitive Pokemon. And he asked me to sign it, and I really didn't know what I was signing at the time, but I was like, "Oh, sure,
or
whatever."
Swiss, I hate
So
that. Whatever.
I was like, "Yeah, I really did not understand what he was
Let's do
talking
what the
about," but
FGC does, and it's if you lose 2, you're out. We got a loser bracket and a winners
well,
bracket.
that's what they do for Pokemon Go, actually.
Oh, really?
So yes,
Yeah.
so um, I I think that is how they do. I thought they did Swiss at first up to a point, but I think they do double elimination
Yeah,
because I
double
saw
elimination. Let's do that. The games there probably wouldn't be a need to do like a day 2.
um that's how quick I got knocked out of NAIC Pokken in 2018 was double limit. I got double eliminated.
You got that big old donut?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, that was me messing around at that point. I was already out of the TCG for
Mm,
because that started the day after, so on
yeah.
day 2 of the TCG. But yeah, but yeah, I think that would be terrible though for TCG.
No, it'd be bad.
$70 for a regional and you're out at
No,
like
like
by like
I
9 in the
honestly though, if
morning.
they did that, I do think the prices would go down because it'd literally be a 1 day tournament. Like
Pretty much. Oh yeah.
like
Yeah,
it wouldn't be a $70 tournament. I don't think it'd probably be
yeah,
like
I
30,
would hope
35.
not, but I definitely think it would be bad
And
for the
no,
game.
it definitely be
Yeah.
bad. Like it just doesn't make sense. It wouldn't be fun for most
Yeah,
people.
no.
Not 95% of people that go like 0-2 and 0-3.
Yeah, really. Yeah, that would be me usually.
All right. We got
But
anything else we want to talk about?
I think, well, just We got some new cards that got
That's
revealed
right. Good thing you
early
said
this
something.
morning.
Yes.
Yeah. I almost forgot to, but
Yeah.
let me actually I gotta pull up the
The
video.
the the Hydra Apple,
Yeah,
Hydrapple,
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
Hydrapple,
I Drapple.
yeah.
EX. I think it has the ability Ripe Charge. Once during your turn, you may attach one basic grass energy from your hand to one of your Pokemon. If you do, heal 30 damage from that Pokemon. And then it does double colorless for its attack, 30 plus damage. This attack does 30 more damage for each grass energy attached to your Pokemon. I don't think that's bad, but
It seems decent.
yeah, it seems decent.
Three
But
330
Bas-
stage 2. Like it I mean it's as tanky as a Charizard. I think with the healing it might, do
yeah,
some crazy math and
you probably run
Yeah,
Ogerpon with
with
it,
oh,
yeah.
100%. I
and
think this could make a grass deck
but
just like
I
a total grass deck.
I feel like because I feel like
The
you
three
wouldn't.
retreat's kind of bad.
Yeah, 3 retreat is bad, but like I guess it depends how
You
many grass energy you
you'll
got in
probably
your.
only have one set up each per on
Yeah,
your board at a time though. If you have 2 to 3 Ogre Pond and you're
yeah,
running.
because you're gonna use the Ogerpon's abilities before this,
Yeah,
like
you'll
every
probably run
time.
an energy switch or two to get this set up. But
It seems
I I think
cool.
I think I like the
Mm-hmm.
attack. It reminds me of Turbidart.
Yeah, I
Um,
really like the
and
Pokemon.
yeah, I like the Pokemon. I think the card
The
looks really
card art
cool.
looks sick. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the card
I
art
I
looks
can't wait till we
really
see
sick.
the full art, and hopefully it has
And
an special
and
illustration.
Illustration,
I
right?
I
Yeah,
like the Teal Mess Ogre Pond, so I'm looking forward to trying to run them together.
yeah.
So I think that's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be really cool.
Then we
We got
got, well, actually before that, there's also a Diplin that comes out with this that
oh,
it's
that's true.
actually like it doesn't do a lot of damage, but that attack is not too bad, and you can run Relicanth with it because it's during your
That's
opponent's
very
next turn, prevent all
mhm,
damage done to this by basic Pokemon.
that's a very good point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so that's
Uh,
not bad.
Raging Bolt still sees play. That'd
Yeah,
be decent.
yeah. So, but we can go to the next big one, which is
Yeah,
Lapras
yeah.
EX.
Lapras EX. Yeah.
Um, someone want to talk about
Well,
that?
it's Lapras EX for 1 water, 40 damage times. This attack does 40 damage times for each energy attached to this Pokemon. Um, and then its second attack,
Dude,
it's got the what is do these cards actually have like a type that they're doing for it, or is it?
they're supposed to be like the stellar type from the
But we don't.
VGC, but
It didn't
there's
have like a special archetype or
no.
anything.
It's
No.
just like any other Terra Pokemon.
Okay, but
Yeah.
They got
they're giving it like weird attack costs, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so for 1 water, psychic, and metal energy, look at the top 20 cards of your deck and attach any number of energy cards you find there to your Pokemon in any way you like. Shuffle your other cards back into your deck. That's pretty crazy. I feel like you definitely would need a second Lapras setup,
It's a
but
nutty
I mean,
nutty attack,
I
but
don't
I
hate
don't.
the first attack though. I kind of like the first attack.
Yeah.
It's just a
Well,
Yeah, I
I
mean,
would
you
say
can
it's a
just
weaker Pao, right? Like that first
yeah.
attack. But it's still a good
but for
attack.
one, yeah, it's definitely not a bad attack, and I think the second attack may not be too bad if you can power that up.
Yeah. I think people will definitely try to figure out how to work it out.
I mean, obviously, you could lost like it have like you do lost in an engine,
Yeah.
I think
but
that might be a
I,
trend with some of these new cards coming out with these wild attack
Yeah.
I
costs. We're gonna
the
see
ace comic
some variance in decks.
too.
Yeah. And then
We have a
They got
Dreadnought with a very interesting ability, impregnable shell.
yeah.
We'll see if that gets translated. It probably will.
Yeah.
But if an attack from your opponent's Pokemon would deal 200 damage or more, prevent that damage. So that's pretty cool. Or
Yeah.
it's only to the Dreadnought, but that is a pretty cool attack, pretty niche, but I could see it maybe just kind of effing somebody, I guess, like in some
Yeah.
way, maybe.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't
not
know.
seeing it.
I'm not necessarily seeing it either, but
The I like the
yeah,
ability. I think it's cool, but the attacks just
yeah, the
yeah.
ability's cool, but the attack is I
8
Yeah.
plus
don't know.
damage if your opponent's active Pokemon already has any damage counters on it. This attack does 80 more. It
Yeah.
Yeah,
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's
not good.
colorless.
160 for
I guess it's colorless, and then you can run a Monkey Dory, and then I guess
That is
do
true.
something. But or you could run the Frostlass with it, so it does damage, and then Monkey Dory, I
That's
guess.
a
But
good point.
anyway,
But
no, it's
yeah,
bad.
let's move
Uh,
on.
the
onto a actually good card,
yeah, is it the Salazzle?
Salazzle
Yeah. Um,
for
go ahead.
two double colorless or for two colorless sudden burn. Your opponent discards a card from their hand. If this Pokemon evolved from Salandit during this turn, they discard 2 more cards. Uh, yeah, that's cool.
That's a very good, like,
Good
discarding
control.
three. Yeah, discarding like up to 3 cards from your opponent's hand is just crazy. Like
Yeah,
That pairs
yeah,
well with Zerosic.
Erosic. I mean, you
yeah.
can do Eerie into that.
Yeah, we could see some crazy handlock going.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. I don't know. Like, well, with it being colorless too, that could be ran in a lot of different things.
And you can
But
just, and also you can just run like double turbo.
that
Yeah.
is true. Yeah, just run DT and
So
you're good. So that's
good.
yeah, I definitely think we might see some. That definitely we'll see some play. I think.
Yeah, and then we got the Arch
Archilodon.
Paladon. Yeah. Which
Um,
is your Pokemon. It has a Steel Bridge ability, and your Pokemon with any mental energy attached to them have no retreat cost. And it does win 60 for its
Dialga's
attack.
back.
Um,
It's solid.
yeah, I
Has
think it's
180 HP.
Yeah,
pretty
I think
solid.
yeah, it's solid. I think it'll be a good support for metal type,
Yeah, I guess
which
we'll
has a
see
pretty
like
bad retreat cost.
what
So
other like metal Pokemon like could work with it too.
yeah, could
Hmm.
be a metal box in the future. Who knows?
Mm-hmm. And
So
then
this card,
the next
moving
card.
on. Oh, I'm excited about this one. This
Yeah.
one seems wild. Glass Trumpet. You can only play this card if you have a Terra Pokemon in play. Choose up to 2 of your benched colorless Pokemon and attach a basic energy from your discard pile to each of them.
So
Um,
I think just like they're trying to make like colorless box pretty much with
yes.
this. And I mean, I think this card is great. Like it, I think for like if you're running a Terra Pokemon that it's like a basic, like
Hmm.
Terrapagos,
Mhm.
like great. And I'm just like thinking now, like you have Terrapagos and you can have like Blissey EX, and then you're doing
Yeah, and you only need a Terra. You don't even need a Terra that's colorless. So you
yeah, it can
can
be something
use the
else.
Terra and then charge up your colorless Pokemon depending on what Terra you're running. Like the combinations could really be wild here.
Yeah,
Hmm.
And also they really want colorless to do well in GLC. It makes you wonder
yeah,
because that's probably
Well,
gonna.
you can't. You wouldn't be able to play because there's
no
only
Terra.
rule
Oh
box
yeah,
there.
yeah,
We
no
talked about
Terra.
this
You're
literally
right.
right before we were
We
recording.
literally had this conversation before we went live, and
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, let's not make this mistake, and then I fell right into it.
um, Luke, you want to
I'm
go
looking
for
at a
the
card with Japanese words. I
yeah?
forgot.
You want to go for the last card, Luke?
Oh yeah, let's do it. So we got a Supporter Briar.
Mm-hmm.
You can play this card only if your opponent has exactly 2 prize cards remaining. Until the end of this turn, if your opponent's active Pokemon is knocked out by damage from one of your Terra Pokemon's attack, take 1 more prize card.
So I actually don't think this card is crazy. Because the stipulations for it is when you're.
But just imagine Charizard.
Oh yeah,
Is
I think it's definitely going to be played like a
yeah,
one
I'm gonna
of.
quick search.
Yeah, like a one of, for sure. But in Charizard, I think it's just
Charizard has Iron Hands now.
yeah, like in Charizard in particular, I think it's good and like especially as just a one of.
Mhm.
But like for other things, I think we'll see because right
I think
now
it
it's
depends on the decks. Like
yeah, like it's gonna
if
depend.
it's easy to
I mean, it could be even good
just
in
map out, like
Dragapult. It just seems good in that too.
yeah,
Yeah, I definitely
you
think
map out like a 3 to 5.
we'll see play. I don't think it's gonna be a game changer though, but I definitely think
Yeah,
it's gonna catch people off guard too, and and that's something that, hey, if your opponent hits you with it in game one, or it's there, you can play a little
yeah. I mean,
differently.
I think people like this card seems pretty decent. So like people that are like pretty good should like be aware of this, especially if it's like in already like testing it in like certain decks. You're going to be like, okay, they might run like one of this
Yeah,
card.
Yeah, if
yeah,
your opponent's
definitely
playing a
deck
Terra
building.
Pokemon, just
They're just like you got to be like that.
be
Just
mindful.
Yeah,
situational awareness.
You try to
like you said, Charizard, I feel like is the ultimate. This
Yeah,
card would probably
anything
go
that
in
can like
run
search out
Pidgeot.
stuff. That
I
seems
didn't even think about Dragapult because most Dragapults are running Pidgeot, so
yeah,
that
like
And that's
especially with
another.
anything
really
with
well too.
Pidgeots because they can get any
Mhm.
card. So, but yeah, Dragapult,
Mhm.
I think it'd be pretty good. But the stipulation of exactly like they have to have exactly two cards remaining. Like if they have only one prize card like
Yeah, it's a dead
remaining,
card.
it's a
Yeah,
dead
yeah,
card. So
it's
it's
a dead
like
card
anything
ninety
but two,
percent of the
like
time.
two. It's like, but I think anything with searchable stuff like Luminion. I mean, Luminion's in the
That's
game,
true.
so
Luminion could do it for game.
yeah. So we'll definitely see.
But it also has to get knocked out from one of your Terra Pokemon for it to work. So,
Yeah, you have to
Yeah,
attack with a Terra Pokemon.
yeah, so that's another thing. Like, your opponent can also play around. They could try to lock you in with a non-Terra type, or do something there.
Yeah,
So,
just thank God that Iron Hands isn't a Terra type.
oh my goodness, yeah,
So
that would be
knock out a
ADP
world for
levels of
free.
bad.
yeah, but the Dragon Ball is a Terra type, right? I'm not crazy. Like it's Dragon, right?
Yeah, Dragapult's
Yes, yeah,
there.
yep, yep.
Okay.
That's a Dragon Terror
Yeah,
type.
I wasn't making sure I wasn't going crazy, but I think it's a pretty cool card, and I actually really like this supporter like in game. Like I think she's cool, and I can't wait to see the illustration art and the full art and see how good they are.
I know nothing about this person in game.
Yeah, I don't know who they are.
Oh man, you guys are missing out. Peak. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm a TCG player, sorry.
Sorry, just because I
Sorry,
played it.
I don't give Game Freak money. I give TPCI
I,
money.
I, I do have Scarlet and Violet, but
I
No,
do too.
I can't even.
I
I haven't
literally got the
finished it yet.
fucking.
Yeah, see it. The
Oh,
Switch.
there you
I
go.
mean, they're from the DLC, obviously. So
Yeah, I still have. I'm pretty sure I bought the DLC, but I still haven't played it.
yeah, I think the DLC is pretty good, but
I bought the DLC to sort
I
of play it,
can't
never
like
played
in
it.
good conscience say Scarlet and Violet is like a good game. Like in all honesty, I had fun
I've
with it,
I've
but
enjoyed it. Like, I love the open world. I just
it
wish
just
it was
it
more than
looks like
15 frames.
ass and it runs like ass. So
Yeah, yeah.
pray that
But
we get better better
yeah,
stuff
I
for Switch
mean,
too.
and that's kind of why I haven't even pursued VG. It's like I'm so far behind in this game. I'm just gonna wait for the next main series,
Yeah,
and then maybe I'll dip my toes into VG. We'll see. But
we'll see where No Basic
till
goes from there.
till now, I
Yeah.
think we're gonna be staying on the TCG though.
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, for sure.
I mean,
All
we are
right.
gonna be hitting a bit of an off season though,
Yeah,
so
we're like
we'll.
into
I think
Worlds. We're you like I guess what July and sometime in July.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty
But
sure it's just
but
start of
even then,
July.
like
But that's not to say we won't have content for you guys either.
yeah, we'll try to
Definitely,
get some videos out, some things
yeah,
we want to
definitely.
do.
We want to get some non-podcast content out as well.
Hmm.
Some like gameplay footage. I know
Some
we've been,
tabletop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
some tabletop, definitely.
Kind of want to focus on, or not necessarily focus, but showcase alternate formats, whether it be GLC or
Expanded.
expanded, or
Yeah.
even we could do. I'd be down to do retro formats.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
obviously, we'd have to proxy those.
Also, because we never played like retro formats, like we weren't in the
Yeah.
TCG.
Pre 2014, I am very unfamiliar
Yeah,
with.
so
My
it'd be a learning
oldest
experience for us.
format was Boundaries Cross to
X and Y.
like I guess like Flashfire was
Oh
when
yeah,
I
Flashfire. Yeah,
Yeah.
Flashfire was the set that I got into.
yeah,
Yeah, I think that was the set I got into as well.
yeah. We all
so,
pretty much got in the like in the same time frame.
Yeah.
So that was like right as X and Y released, and then like a little bit after, that's when we started going to
I
like,
went
League.
to Virginia regionals in 2014.
Oh,
for
that was for
VGC,
VGC.
and then I was
Yes, I
like,
remember. Yeah.
I was like,
Crazy.
wow, TCG seems better.
It took me like 3 years, almost 3 years, before I could even comprehend going to like a 2-day event for Pokemon. It's like, oh no, I can't like take off work to go to a whole nother city to play Pokemon. And
Yeah,
it took a couple years, but I finally got around to doing that.
it's
Yeah.
definitely hard. I mean, anything competitive is hard.
Yeah, and I'm waiting. Like, so Pokemon, get your regional dates out, by the
Yeah.
way.
So
We are ready. I need
we
to
want to
like
plan
book
it.
some hotels, some flights.
Y'all ready to go to
Gotta
Baltimore?
Yeah. I mean, hey,
Hey,
Baltimore regional. I'd be happy,
I'd be
but
happy to go to
I'd be really
yeah,
that would be the that'd be
Baltimore for
close.
us would be
Yeah.
such a blessing.
I feel like it's still far enough where I'd want to get a hotel though. That's the
Oh
unfortunate
yeah,
part.
no,
Because
we
like,
definitely get a
if you make
hotel.
day
Baltimore?
2, I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to drive all the way back up to Baltimore. That would suck.
No, we just
I'd
sleep in the car.
honestly, I probably would just get a hotel that night if we
Oh
make day
yeah,
2.
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
We could
true.
literally just get like a hotel that night
Like
or a
I say
motel.
just drive
I'd
up
get a
there.
hotel. Yeah, we could drive up early in the morning.
Well, I guess we gotta
Or
check
get a
in.
hotel the
I
night
don't know.
Yeah,
before, and then just kind of play it by ear on the second night.
Yeah,
yeah,
that might be better.
yeah. Because if one
Yeah,
of
That way
us
it's
does day 2, then obviously
we get another hotel. We get
yeah,
a
like we
hotel.
just
Yeah,
get another
straight up.
whatever.
But
But all right, I think that's
yeah,
that's
I
everything.
think
It's a
solid
good time
episode.
talking with you guys as always.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
looking forward to World's
good talks.
news and hopefully some hype coming up in the next month or so.
Yeah, we'll try to get even after this video, we'll try to get some other stuff recorded for you guys and
Yeah,
get up on the
and
channel eventually. So,
you guys
um,
are
For
if you
sure,
guys
for
haven't
sure.
yet, definitely subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow the Spotify. It's the same on both platforms. If you guys haven't already.
all right,
Yeah.
see you guys.
All right. See you
Thank
guys.
you guys.